have to continue to go through the same type of pain over and over again until you're like, hey, maybe I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe it's me. Maybe it's not, oh, men ain't shit and all dudes are dogs or whatever. It's not ever that. It's always like you starting with you. So our inner world reflects our outer world. So how I feel about myself is being reflected in the people that I attract and the circumstances that I experience.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's like that changed or that shifted and I started recreating my self-concept and I started healing those wounds and I started retelling the story like, no, you are worthy. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of attention and everything that it is that you desire to receive from someone, you give it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that self-concept changed, then it's like I changed and now I can see the reflection in the people that I attract, the circumstances, opportunities, all of that. You are now entering the sacred sanctuary. Welcome back to the Sacred Sanctuary, where we dive deep into self-love, healing, divinity, and manifesting the life of your dreams. Today, we are going to have an explosive episode with my girl, Maat Petrova. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey. How you doing?
Feeling good, girl.
I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm excited to get into today's conversation. First and foremost, Maat is the owner of Fem Magic, an organic vegan feminine care line. I'm going to let her dive into that a little bit more, but she is a powerhouse. She has been walking in her femininity from as long as I've known her, but even longer than that. So today's episode is going to be one that you truly don't want to miss because the gems that I know are going to be dropped and the evolution that women are going to experience after hearing this information is going to literally blow your minds and yes. And help us all to ascend and transcend to be the women that we dream and desire to be. So tell me a little bit about your background. How did you get started with Fem Magic? How did you walk into this feminine empowerment that you have been embodying for so long?
Mm-hmm. So this December, we celebrated 9 years of Fem Magic. So it's been 9 years that I've been sharing with women and empowering them, mind, bodies, vaginas, spirits, holistically and publicly. You know, I started my company in December 2015. So I'm really excited about that. And that all started with the journey of just starting to explore my sensuality and sacred sexuality and doing it before an audience.
Okay.
And I had to bring it back for them and show them, hey, you know, I'm not new to this. I'm very true to this. Look at me on that video gyrating, showing y'all how to what I used to call yoni twerk.
Okay.
So it's like a vaginal kind of exercise I would have women doing while they're breathing. Yeah.
Like a Kegel?
Kegel.
Okay.
Pelvic floor exercise. Yep.
Ooh,
So
sexy.
I used to do classes called yoni twerk, waistline wine, things of that nature. Just to get the audience going and to feel connected. And from there, I started my vaginal care products.
Okay.
So I started with Vag Elixir and then went on to Coochie Wine and pads and tampons and or all those organic products from there.
I love that. So I'm going to go right into it because, you know, today we're going to be talking about, of course, relationships, how to attract healthy relationships, how mother and father wounds impact how we show up, how healing that starts to attract what we bring into our lives, and so much more. But to get started on what you're talking about in regards to the yoni, to the womb, to the divine essence, to the creator of life. It's important, of course, as women, we know, to have the vaginal hygiene, to, you know, care for our yonis and everything else. But I want to talk about the energy and the importance of protecting the energy, not just in the hygienic way, but also in who you allow into that sacred space. How dealing with people and what they have going on and allowing that to come into your space. Because, you know, I'm pretty sure you get questions and comments about BV, and, you know, that's not the only thing that you can get when you're sleeping with a person and their community slinging. So, not including STDs, but even just that, something that's not considered an STD, but just the energetic frequency around getting VV, and also just the energy behind how having someone come into your space can mess up like attracting and can mess you up mentally and all of that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you take over.
I think the first thing we need to start with is knowing that we are energy, and energy can't be created nor can it be destroyed.
Yeah.
And when we start with the fact that we are spirits having a physical experience and not physical beings having a spiritual experience, we'll then be able to understand that when somebody enters you, they're energetically entering you and not just physically entering you, you know? So with that energy they're carrying from whoever they've been with, not to mention whatever they're going through from their generational curses or blessings,
Right, right.
is being passed on to you.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes spiritual warfare that goes on with someone, the spiritual warfare that goes on can cause a somatic reaction in your body and create disease with these diseases within you. In my studies with women, for instance, who have had conflicting relationships with their mothers, I found that there was a commonality with fibroids for women who haven't had loving, caring, healthy relationships with their moms. I found that,
Really?
yeah, all those women I've spoken to, well, not all, but most women I've spoken to who had fibroids, I would ask them, what's your relationship with your mother? And sure enough, it'll be in a strange relationship.
Wow.
So, you know, spiritual and emotional experiences turn into physical blockages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. That's I did well. I know my mom had fibroids, and a few of the women in my family does. I don't personally deal with it, and I don't plan on
Thank God.
dealing with it. Thank God. But that parallel, that correlation is that's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So talking about the issues that a woman may have with her mother and having those estranged relationships, how do you think that that shows up when a woman goes out into the world and she starts dating? And how does that show up in the way that she loves and cares for herself from your experience?
Um, Before I go on to that, I just want to share that I just launched a tea
Okay.
for fibroids
Yes.
and PCOS. And because I was rushing, I forgot it. So I'm going to bring you some. It's called Hormonal Harmony.
Okay.
So for any of the women who are concerned with those types of feminine maladies,
Yes.
I actually came up with a wonderfully constructed blend, an herbal blend called Hormonal Harmony.
I love
And
that.
yeah.
I love that. Okay, ladies, make sure get that.
Now back to the question. How does this show up in the world? For one, you know, when we're not feeling right vaginally, we don't feel right completely. We can't walk around with our vaginas off, or we don't. We just don't.
Yeah.
As women, I don't know one woman who's walking around feeling confident and happy and at peace with herself if her vagina is off.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's BV, yeast infections, fibroids, cysts, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? I don't know one woman who's walking around the world feeling confident if she's off down there.
Yeah.
And so it affects your confidence.
Yeah.
It affects the way you operate in the world. And when you have low confidence, then you're not able to attract or even see all the blessings and opportunities that are available to you
Right.
because you're so distracted by
What's
the
going
thing that's off.
Yeah.
You know? So just on an overall general level, that's how it affects us. You know,
Yeah.
it just creates more blockages.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what about the relationship? So if you have an estranged relationship with your mother, how does that show up? Like, how do you feel like you show up in relationships, or how does that affect your self-esteem?
So, as someone who feels like I grew up with a loving mother, but toxic feminine, if you will, because she overloved, overgave, you know, people pleaser type of love, you know, loved her children because she wasn't loved, right? Um, thank God I didn't experience the latter, which a lot of my clients experience, which is with a mother who's not loving, who doesn't compliment them, who doesn't hug them, who doesn't tell them they love them. And so from that perspective, it just affects your self-worth. You know, it affects your self-worth. It affects your relationships with other women. And you can go to either spectrum of either being completely bitter and mean, or a people pleaser, you know? So yeah, it just completely affects your self-worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, and first and foremost, like rest in peace to my mother. I lost my mother back in 2021, and we know that. But growing
And
up,
that's still so recent.
it is very recent, but I've really come to terms with everything, and like you said in the beginning, we are spirits having a physical experience. So I feel my mom. Like I know she's not physically here, but I feel her like energetically. Like it's out of this world, honestly. But I forgave my mom a long time ago. And once I realized, and we talked about this in the last episode when I was talking to Devin about the mother wound and everything, but my experience was like you said your clients was, I didn't feel that love, I didn't feel that acceptance from my mom. And then my mom was young when she had all of us. So for the most part of my middle school, high school years, like my mom was out, she was catching up, she was in school, she was in college, she was now chasing her dreams because she didn't do that, she didn't get a chance to do that when she was in her 20s. So for me, it was like I had too much freedom. I could like literally do what I wanted. And granted, I did the right thing in a lot of ways. I just felt like it didn't matter what I did, and I didn't get that. I didn't have that show up for me. So how that affected me was I didn't realize that I didn't value myself, or I was a people pleaser, or it made me codependent because I was always trying to prove myself. Now this is me healing like after years. Like once I realized this, and then I started looking like, oh shit, this is why I've been attracting the type of relationships that I've been attracting. This is why, like, you'll get women and they're like, well, I overlove and I love so hard and I overgive. Well, not, you don't say you overgive. You like, I just give a lot, right? So I'm like, I give a lot. I don't understand why I say he doing X, Y, and Z. Why do I keep attracting the same type of people?
Well, you can't overgive when it's to the wrong person who doesn't reciprocate.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You can overgive.
Absolutely. But I'm not calling it overgiving. I'm just saying that I just give. This is my heart, and I come in and I am all heart, and I do come in the world like that.
Big-hearted person.
Yes. But there's boundaries that you have to have with that, and I didn't have those, and I didn't understand why things were happening the way they were and why I kept attracting the same experiences in different people. Not until I realized that the issue was with me, and was with what I needed to heal, and that I knew I forgave my mom, but I didn't really understand like the wounding that was kind of embedded so deep. Like I didn't understand it. And you have to continue to go through the same type of pain over and over again until you like, hey, maybe I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe it's me. Maybe it's not, oh, men ain't shit and all dudes are dogs or whatever. It's not ever that. It's always like you starting with you. So our inner world reflects our outer world. So how I feel about myself is being reflected in the people that I attract and the circumstances that I experience. So when it's like that changed or that shifted, and I started recreating my self-concept, and I started healing those wounds, and I started retelling the story like, no, you are worthy, you are worthy of love, you are worthy of attention, and everything that it is that you desire to receive from someone, you give it to yourself. And then once that self-concept changed, then it's like I changed, and now I can see the reflection in the people that I attract, the circumstances, opportunities, all of that. Just like you said, is that you can't walk out in the world and be off inside, whether that's down there or just in your heart, whatever. You can't and feel that confidence because you're not going to get the experiences that you want, or you're going to be blind to them, So I think that that's important, like just our contrast in how you grew up with your mom and then it being completely opposite, but then we still relate in a lot of ways. Because first
that's from the daddy room.
Yeah, that's what it. Oh yes. We don't go there too, because I want the father room. So yeah, even with the mother wound that clearly I had brought up toxic feminine, but then I know the way we relate. I don't even think it has anything to do with wounding. I mean, you're just my soul sister, and it's just been that.
Right.
Yeah, that
Right.
just is what it is. But obviously, we do
Because
have
because I don't feel a trauma bond with you.
at all. Not at all. Not at
Yeah.
all. We relate.
I
I
feel
think it's
an
just very,
elevated bond.
yeah, it's very
Elevated
high level.
bond. Yeah.
Very high level,
Yeah.
very spiritually aligned,
Yeah.
and I think that's what connected us, and that's definitely our values are what kind of keeps our bond going. And it really don't matter what's happening because we always just gonna be like this. So that's just it. But to dive deeper, so we talked about the mother wound and toxic feminine and how that can show up. What about the father wound? How does that affect? Because listen, the video I just did, I did a clip, and so many women commented like on their experience of attracting the avoidant type men, the men with mother wounds, the having that experience. A lot of women brought up how their father wasn't around and how they had a father wound. How does that show up? And then also, how do you deal with it? What advice do you give to the woman to heal it?
That's a lot.
It's a lot. Right. It's a loaded question.
Let's go. Um, so I'm gonna speak from my experience. Yes. As a father womb champ. uh so first of all, it shows up as seeking that nurturing and fatherly love through men. You know, wanting them to protect you, wanting them to provide for you, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? From a healthy perspective. Yeah. But I'm coming from a needy perspective. Yeah. You know, I'm coming from a I don't have it within me, so you give it to me. So perspective, lack. Right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm coming from a lack perspective, and so when you show up that way in front of someone, they see you as weak. They know that they can take advantage of you, right? Especially men. That's a quick opportunity for them to get some poom poom, possibly extended poom poom with no money back. Okay. Oh, you don't have to do anything. The poom poom gonna come wrapped up with the ribbon. Okay, with a ribbon. Yes, yes, and they know that because you're showing up needy. You know, you're showing up half empty. Yeah, as opposed to full and giving from the overflow. Right. Yeah. And so to I would say most of my damn life, I showed up that way in relationships with men, and I became aware of it. It's like I always knew, you know, from the time I became conscious at the age of 17, when I started growing locks and became vegan and started reading all these self-help books, from Jewel Poole, from Mali Doma Patrice Tomei, um, Farrakhan, you know, at, as a teenager, I knew it, but I really didn't start to change my behaviors until later in life, years later, right? I would just indulge in just being in these toxic relationships of me just wanting and needing and love me, you know? Yeah. Let me overlove you now. Yeah. Let me work double time for me and for you. Yeah. So that I can get the love I want. Yeah. And it would never happen that way. Yeah. And so I just started to practice abstinence because I needed to figure it out. So a lot of abstinence happened, and I'm a highly sexual being, you know. So a lot of abstinence. So it's not like it was almost against my will that I had to be abstinent. Lord, start the yummy. So, you know, but I had to start practicing discipline. And once I started to get control of myself and my own neediness and started to reflect on, okay, where's this coming from? I know that my father was absent. I know my father was not only absent, but when he was present, he was abusive, right? Physically, emotionally, domestically. Wow. So, my mind has no real healthy relationship with men. I'm immune to abuse when it comes to men because of this level of trauma that I have. Yeah. So I have a higher level for bullshit.
Yeah.
Whereas the healthy girl who grew up in a 2-parent healthy home with a great father and a great mother, she's going to walk away from it immediately. Yes. Okay. But me, I'm staying around. I'm forgiving. I'm leaving. I'm spinning the block. I'm coming back. I'm going again. I'm breaking up. I'm going back again. I'm waiting a year. I'm going back again.
Oh my God. Ooh, tell us all this time. Preach.
So, my tolerance for BS was high because of the level of trauma and abuse I was exposed to as a baby.
You had normalized that trauma. It became like this is what's supposed to be.
This is nature.
Yeah.
Forget second nature. This is nature.
Right. Ooh.
Yeah. So I had to I started to look at healthy people.
Okay.
I looked at the girl who, got upset that she was raped. And I remember when I was raped, it was like, oh, damn, let me just walk home and keep it to myself. Wow. Because like my tolerance for abuse and trauma was too high. It was my consciousness for my humanity wasn't there.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to start looking at healthy examples of how should I act? Yeah. Why is she so upset that she was raped?
Yeah.
Why is she so upset that he cheated on her?
Right.
Why is she
We had normal oh my God. Normalize the trauma. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. Horrible.
Okay.
So I started looking at healthy examples of women and knew that I was not normal. Knew that because of my trauma, my tolerance is too high. Yeah. And so in my healing, I brought back my sensitivity because I was insensitive. I was numb to pain.
Yeah.
So in the abstinence and through my journey of self-reflection and tapping into sacred sexuality, in which that took movement like dancing and yoga and stuff like that, and excuse me, and continuously reading books just so I can hear healthy perspectives and read healthy perspectives of what I should think like.
Yeah.
Because I knew the way I thought was deviant.
Yeah.
So in my healing and taking a break from men because my relationship with men were so toxic and me trying to even help men. I I'm not only assisting them in over loving for both of us, but I'm also Captain Save-A-Ho. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, let me save him. Let me help him. Oh my gosh, he's going through so much.
Let me heal him.
Yeah.
Let me try to heal him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Let me help him. Let me save him. Right. So I'm thinking that I have the power because now I've become this powerful woman. Right. I'm influencing women to rise up and feel self-empowered and tap into their sensuality and their feminine energy. So I'm feeling myself now, and then I end up in this relationship where I'm like, let me help him. I'm doing a good thing here. Yeah. Yeah. And he ends up pulling me down. Right? He ends up and then I'm messing up myself. I'm all the way completely. Completely, just taking all kinds of L's. I was telling my audience the other day, somebody says, I never lose, I only learn. Right? I always win, I never lose, I only learn. Yeah. Well, guess what? Sometimes those L's in lesson turns into L's in loss if you keep having to learn the same lesson over and over with different people, different names, different faces, same lesson. That turns into an L. Yeah. Because now you're depleting yourself. Yeah. You're going to end up depleting your finances, your self-worth, your self-esteem, your confidence, your vagina. Right. You're going to end up depleting yourself because you're having to learn the same lesson too many times. And the universe is like,
got it yet?
Listen,
you ain't got it yet.
I can't remix this stuff anymore. Right. I've remixed it enough.
I done gave you the same dish, different platter. You still keep eating, like, you still gonna eat it?
Let me tell you, Creator starts giving you even lower versions of that same lesson.
Until you get it.
Until
It's
you
like I'm
get
gonna
it.
take you down through there until you realize, like, you have the power to shift and control this narrative. But yes, I love what you said because that is so true. First of all, once we realize, like, okay, we are co creating with the creator, we're all connected. So, as within, so without. So, if your experience in your inner world is that of toxicity, that this is second nature, my beliefs are that this is what men are supposed to do, my beliefs are that I'm going to get cheated on because that's been my experience, or because that's what I saw my dad do to my mom, or if I didn't have a dad, I feel like men are supposed to show up and be avoidant and be distant, and I have to fight and find for their love, versus that's just supposed to be natural. If those are my core beliefs and that's what I'm believing and that's the story I'm telling myself every day, then that's going to be the reality that I'm creating, because we are 3D right now. The present moment is the past. It's a past reflection of our thoughts and our behaviors and our actions. And if we're continuing to believe and continuing to reproduce those same thoughts and those same behaviors, then our tomorrows are going to look just like they did today and yesterday. And the story is going to continue to cycle out until we choose to change that subconcept, until we choose to heal, to forgive, to be intentional about how we show up, to be intentional about what we allow into our space. That's the only way that our lives are going to change.
Yeah.
Because yes, things do happen to us. We are all here having this human experience or this physical life experience. And it's up to us to decide, hey, oh, if I am one with the creator, if I create my reality, then it's up to me. Nothing on the outside is going to transform me. Like,
Yeah.
I have to transform it. I have to be the alchemist. I have to turn this base metal into gold. So if we don't get to the place where we're actively, intentionally choosing to heal those things, choosing to say, hey, this isn't right. My narrative, my paradigms about how things are going is not, this not normal. Just how you had to look, oh, this isn't normal. I can't deal with this. This isn't how I'm supposed to be treated. I feel all out of alignment.
Yeah.
You in those relationships and your heart, you're feeling anxious all the time and you're feeling nervous, that you're out of alignment.
Anxious attachment on high.
On high, anxious attachment on high. That is not normal. Sometimes that's your nervous system telling you to run for the hills.
I was getting the chatters in my teeth, the jitters, like I just drank coffee
Your
with
body
certain
will tell you
people.
every time. Your body, listen, we go out externally and search for this validation, to search for answers, when the answers are within us the whole time. Our bodies are going to tell us when something is off. Our bodies are going to tell us when we're out of alignment. I remember being in the wrong relationships and stuck it out and did what you said, like the same story. I'm fighting it out. Oh, okay, we gonna work it out. I'm gonna heal. You gonna see what you got in me. I'm gonna do everything I can because you gotta know I'm all of this. And I'm saying that I'm gonna tell you I'm this. I'm gonna tell you this is who I am. You're stupid if you fuck this up. You're dumb. Really? But I'm coming back right after you cheat on me because because that's what's normal.
Yeah, but I'll be back.
I'll be back. I'll be back. Not realizing, no,
Listen,
get out of here. I can't even see my future. I'm
never
so
went
clouded right. Listen, I'm clouded right now. I remember looking at my future and seeing fog. And I'm like, God, looking everywhere outside of me. God, please, what do I gotta do? What he gonna act right? Is he gonna do what I need him to do? God, do I need to go back? Okay, I'm gonna just go back. All the signs showing. No, don't go back. All the signs showing. Oh, I'm asking God what I need to do. I see a text message come up. I'm asking God what I need to do. I see a video show up with him and another girl. Asking God what I need. Okay. But
it's not going to register until you're ready.
Listen, until you're ready.
It's not going to register. And for me, I've never done any quantum jumps in my life. It has all been a process for me. Just like my first car was a 2001 in 2014, a 2001 Champagne Honda. To me, getting my dream car, it took me 5 years from there.
Yeah.
And a process. I went from the 2001 Honda to then the 2010. What was that? Another Honda, and then I went to the 2017 Cadillac SRX, and from there I went to the 2020 Cadillac, and then I finally got in 2000
the dream car.
right, the Range Rover.
Yes,
right.
yes.
But so too, same process. When it came to men, I had to start saying no to the lower versions
Bottom of the barrel.
that I used to accept before. So I started first saying no to them, and then I took it up a notch. And then I said, this isn't good enough. This still kind of reminds me of a little bit of that. It's a little better, but it's not good enough.
Yeah.
So I had to start setting boundaries and saying no to each of those versions till I got to the version that was right for me and my reflection.
So you raised your standards.
Absolutely. And I set boundaries. Most of all, me saying no to that which I don't want anymore.
Yeah.
I had to start saying no. Before I was like, okay, I can work with it. No.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
you cannot accept what doesn't reflect the life that you desire. You can't keep saying no and giving energy to something that doesn't feel or look like what you want to
Your
live.
picture is, yeah.
And so it just took a process of me saying no one by one to different versions until I got to the version I thought was suitable for me and where I am vibrationally.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that's when, especially walking this path, that's when you look at it and say, okay, this is my work. This is my value. I'm doing the work. I'm actively doing the work. I know I'm not perfect, but I know what I don't want. I know what the future version of me looks like. I know how she wants to feel. I know how she talks. I know how she walks. I know what she allows. I know what she doesn't allow. So I'm going to go ahead and embody that today. And I'm saying no to everything that doesn't align with her.
That's right.
Because if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I'm not doing it. And I have to be able to look at my future. I have to be able to be in alignment and feel like this is the path I'm going. And if anything shows up that's not in alignment with that, my body gonna tell me. Yeah. My circumstances and experiences are gonna tell me. It's gonna be like, you know what, nothing is going right for you. You know why? Because you gotta look at the circumstances and things that you're allowing, the people that you're allowing. Because it's gonna tell you every time. It's just that we be hard-headed sometimes and we ignore it because we think that we can go out and save people. First of all, healing is a personal job. Healing is personal. We can't heal nobody. We can heal ourselves, and we can choose what we want to accept. But thinking that you're gonna go out and heal a man or heal a woman and just save them, no, you're not. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. And that's coming from a former super saver hoe. I'm gonna heal the world. Yeah. No. It wasn't until for me I got to the place where it's like, all right, I can't change nobody. As much as I want to, I can't change anybody. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work like hell on myself. I'm gonna dive deep. I'm gonna love myself so hard. All the love I tried to give everybody else, all that I've been pouring out to everybody else, I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna give that to me. Yeah. And you know what? I don't take no shit. Like if now I look at like I don't take no shit. I don't care who you are. Yeah. I don't care who you are. I don't care how big you beat your chest. Who you think who what? Right. Excuse me? Yeah. Bye. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. And it took a while for me to get to her. And she's saying, message. Don't play with her. You know what she said, don't play with that girl. She's not one of them. Come on. Don't play with her. All right, let's go because we got to keep this going because, I already knew. When we link up, it's just going to go there every single time. All right, so let's go into some controversial relationship topics. I know these, some of these are overplayed. So let's see. With the rise of hookup culture and casual dating apps, how do you think that this is affecting women's emotional well-being and their ability to have and form healthy, lasting relationships? Current dating climate. Well, I think because I've utilized some of the apps before when I was dating, and it's just about your mentality and how you feel and how you feel about yourself and how you carry yourself. You can be a part of the culture. You can be a part of it, but not of it. Is that the saying? Okay. In it, but not of it. Yeah. And so I was in it. I was in the apps, but I wasn't of it. Just because this is what they were doing doesn't mean that that's what I'm going to do. Right. So I still held my standards. I still was extremely selective to the point where I would get on these apps and get off in a day or two because just I didn't see my standard there. Same. So
it just depends on yourself. You
Yeah.
have to have your own mind.
Yeah.
You have to have your own standards and values, you know? I know that I don't have sex with just anyone.
Right.
I'm extremely sexual, but I'm not going to give you this good pum pum just like
Right.
that. Are you kidding me?
Right. Are
You're
you
not
kidding
just going to
me?
get this just like that. Are you kidding me? So
Yes.
I'm abstinent, as you know,
Yeah.
all the time almost, right?
All the time.
Uh,
Yeah.
you met me abstinent.
Listen,
I
the discipline on 1,000. You can't smell it.
you know, so yeah, so I practice abstinence because and again, not because I want to, but because you don't deserve this.
Yeah.
You know what I
You gotta
mean?
earn it. And that's
Exactly.
how we should all approach it.
Yeah. And it's just about your mentality. So it's not about the culture, it's about your culture, your inner culture.
Yeah.
My inner culture says I value myself.
Yeah. I
I
love
know
myself.
I love myself. I know my worth.
Mm-hmm.
I know I am invaluable.
Right.
So unless somebody is in alignment with that, then I'm not participating.
Yeah. That
Hmm.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. Second, being on a dating app and getting off of there like immediately.
Mm.
And it's like, I think as a woman, like you inherently, especially when you inherently know your worth, like it's like, I mean, why am I on here? And I haven't been on a dating app in probably 2.5 years.
Mm.
And when I did get on there, it was literally like I
Yeah.
was in and out like a robbery.
Yeah.
Because it was like I this does not feel like it's in alignment. And then the messages I was, you are you catfish? You too fine to be on here. I'm like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me just get out.
Yeah.
Let me get out the house and stop being a
Yeah.
hermit. And I think that's when I was actively just trying to look for something like, oh, like okay, I'm ready to be in a relationship.
Oh, I would love to talk about that.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
looking for somebody
Oh
thing.
yeah,
I got
yeah.
to the point where I decided, and you know, everything I'm telling you, you already
Yeah,
know,
of course. They
right?
don't know.
So I decided that I am no longer participating.
Right.
I'm no longer looking.
Yeah.
I'm no longer wanting.
Yeah.
And I'm no longer needing.
Yeah.
Right? So when I came to that realization, just that detachment
Mm-hmm.
and surrender
Mm-hmm.
to the creator and knowing that my life is fucking full
Yeah.
regardless. My life feels good
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
regardless. I have amazing connections with my girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
I have good relationships with my family members.
Mm-hmm.
I,
I'm good.
I am so good. I'm so good.
Yes.
Right? I got my pets. Okay. Like there's a lot of love surrounding
Yes.
me,
Yes.
you know? So I thought to myself, and I know this is extreme, but I said, you know what? I don't care. I can go into old age,
Mm-hmm.
seeing myself decades down the line, single,
Yeah.
without
Independent.
any mate, any man. If I want to go get a little books, you know, on holiday, then I'm gonna do that. Right? I'm gonna do that if I want to, you know.
Yeah.
You know, little tune up,
Yeah.
you know. But for the most part, I foresaw a really happy, healthy life.
Yeah.
And in me letting go and relinquishing, all of a sudden, like high quality from
Mm-hmm.
the inside
Yeah.
out, men started to appear.
Yeah. When you put that focus on you.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's important for us to know, men and women. When you shift the focus to yourself and giving yourself all that you are seeking externally, then you'll start to see your 3D reality shift, just like I said, as
Yeah.
within, so without earlier. Your 3D right now is a reflection of your past thoughts and actions and behaviors.
Mhm.
So now when you shift it, oh, because I remember, listen, we've been through this journey. So I remember the paradigm shift that you had when we had that conversation. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I support you, sis, because that's
I
how
was
it
like, I'm
should
done.
be. You're like, I'm done. I'm not doing it. I'm focused on me, which you've always been focused
I've
on you.
always been.
Yeah,
But can we mention,
yeah.
can we talk about what we do to focus on ourselves? Because we kind of do similar things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What Sade and I do, because I speak for her too, we work out constantly, all the
Yes.
time,
Yes.
you know, like 5 days a week.
Yep.
We also go to Pilates. We watch our diets. We keep our appearance together.
Yep.
We do meditation. We do journaling. a whole bunch of self-care, self-work
Yes.
we do for ourselves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of investment
Yeah.
that we do for ourselves. And so in us investing so much, we're building up our self-worth every day. We're building up our inner ammunition every day
Yeah.
from all the negativity
Yeah.
that can attack you daily,
Yeah.
whether it's on social media or, your family members or your weird ass
Yeah.
friends. Okay.
Look, for real. I
Um,
think you're right. We've built this fortress, and I don't know about you, and I'm pretty sure it is the same, but I don't have those negative experiences like I used to.
mhm.
And I think it's important to also note that even in our journey and our healing season, there's still moments. You
Yeah.
know, I just was in a relationship where it's like I had my moments, and it was like this whole healing. It was just a journey of healing. It was transformative, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it was a very healing, very me getting to know me and all of my nuances and intricacies. But you will have moments where it'll come back up. But you know what I noticed, and I know you know, and I know just in our conversations, I could call my eye and I could be like, I don't know. And it takes a lot for me to call and talk about my shit. But
And I don't know why, because I never judge,
but
but
that's what I do.
whatever.
That's what I do. When it gets to the place where I'm like, okay, I need my girls, I need
Yeah.
my girl input. I need to
Yeah.
talk to her. I need to let this out.
Yeah.
I need to vent. I need to feel seen for a second because I don't know what the hell is going on. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm no, we ain't going back to old Chardonnay. We're not
Straight.
doing it.
Yeah.
But being able to do that, but then the snapback, like I feel like in the journey, and this is important for them to know, in your journey, you're gonna have moments where the old self is gonna try to reappear. And it's important to note that when she does or when he does, it's like, oh, let me be conscious and aware of this. Oh, I see what's happening right now. Or I see the feelings that are coming up.
Yeah.
I know that I am not these feelings or
Yeah.
these emotions. I know that it's important for me to let it out because I'm definitely not holding on to this because
Mhm.
I'm not about to recreate this in my future. So
Come
let
on.
me let it out. Let me
Yeah.
cry it out.
Don't
Let me
internalize.
vent it out. Let me not
Yeah.
internalize it. Let me not personalize it.
Mhm.
And the shift happens so fast now.
Quicker. Yeah.
It's so girl.
Yeah.
I remember
The
calling
more
you
healed you become, the quicker it
the quicker it
happens. Yeah.
happens. Because I remember
Yeah.
calling you one day and then the next day I was completely like, oh, I'm good.
Dude, and it was real.
It was so real.
It wasn't you pretending. You really were like on to the next. You were like a whole
Okay.
lifetime away.
I'm like, okay. And we talked earlier a little bit about well, you mentioned you never quantum jumped, and I recently just had an experience where I quantum jumped, and I never understood it. I was like, this just sounds like super like esoteric, metaphysical, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds good, but no, I just quantum shifted. I have literally just been focused on my visualization, really living in the end, as Neville Goddard would say, living in the end and
I love
being and embodying, embodying my future self. So I have my picture and I know what it looks like. And every day when I meditate at night and I meditate in the morning. But I'm seeing my picture, I'm living in my picture. And when I tell you, I feel like the experiences I just had are a world away. Like I don't even think that I like. It's like I don't feel it anymore. I don't even like that happened. It's like I've completely removed. Like it's a completely different person. Like I don't. Blew my mind. Blew my mind. Y'all have to look at revision techniques. Y'all have to look up Living in the End by Neville Goddard because you can literally change the trajectory of your life. You can change your experiences, all of the traumas that you've been through. You can go in and revise them, and you will look back and you're like, I don't, this is, it's so foggy to me. This last year of my life is foggy.
I love it.
I'm like, what?
I love it.
No type of feeling on the inside, no discord, no emotional imbalance.
That's healing
no
right there.
Girl, straight up healing. But then I just know that I'm living in another timeline.
I love it.
And I was telling y'all earlier just about me, just some of the things that I've been living in my picture and how I'm seeing it now reflecting in my 3D reality. And I'm not surprised because I expect it, right? So everything, I know it's going to happen. I know it's happening because it's already done. I feel it. I feel the embodiment of that. Yeah. And I think we just got to get to that space where while we're working on ourselves, we're picturing the highest version of ourselves. And we are walking as her, we're being her, and we're letting go of the attachment to any circumstance or any outcome on the outside, because as long as we have it within, it has no choice but to show up. We have so many manifestation stories that we've discussed amongst each other where once you just know and you do certain things and you embody the feeling,
Yes.
we in that car and the car that we might be currently driving, and we visualize it, oh, I'm gonna get my dream car, but you sitting in there and you go, oh, and you feeling that emotion and that vibration, and then it's like the car don't even matter at this point because I feel like I have it.
Yeah.
And that is the key. Feel like you have it. Allow.
Yeah.
Be in that feminine allowing
it's definitely
energy.
The feeling.
Yes.
It absolutely is a feeling.
Yes, I love that. So let's talk. We talked about.
I wanted to share something though.
Yeah, go
ahead. In regards to the father wounds, because I know that women, in regards to that topic, I'm sure they're seeking some more. I want to share one of the last things that I did in regards to the father wound is I completely released my dad. Like I saw a video of me, and I think like 2021 of me publicly calling him like, hey guys, I'm about to call my dad, let me see if he picks up. So this is me reaching out and still wanting to be in touch with him, because we lost touch maybe in 2019 or 18, something like that, where I didn't call him for Father's Day. He didn't call me again. So I didn't call him either, again either. But then I finally decided, okay, we haven't called each other in like a year. Let me see what's up, right? Yeah. So I think that was like 2021 when I did that video. But fast forward, it's 2024. And I started thinking about him and just like, he's probably 70, 75 now or something like that. And that's not young. So who knows? He could be living or he could be dead. Who knows? But I started thinking about death, and how would I feel if if somebody were to call me and say he was dead, And I decided to release him. Whether he was dead or alive, that he hasn't reached out to me. So stop thinking about whether he is going to reach out. That's me, kind of having this yearning or yearning inside for me to be connected to him. So I released the connection with him, and I left him out into oblivion in the world, wherever he is. And just kind of relinquished it completely. And I found solace in that, knowing that I just let it go. When you let go of something, especially that strummed at your heart or you felt connection to, when you release it, especially if it was holding you back, you just feel a sense of freedom. And so in me letting him go, just deciding, hey, whether he is dead or alive, I'm sorry. Good for him. You know what I mean? That has no bearing on me and how I feel about myself or how I conduct relationships with other people, men in particular. I completely released him. I let him go completely. Now, in regards to the mother womb, I know it's hard for women, especially in working with them, for them to release their mom. When I tell them, listen, you all have to rename her, stop calling her mother, because she is not being nurturing, supportive, loving, caring, all the good things that you see when you see the word mother. So you have to retitle her and rename her if you're still going to be in connection with this person, because you're fooling yourself and you're going to continuously want that nurturing and her to care for you and love you, because you're thinking mother, daughter, this is what a mother does, is what a daughter does. So you have to conduct a releasing process, a renaming and a retitling process until you're able to completely heal. Because sometimes the mother she's not trying to do any healing work. The father isn't trying to do any healing work. So I completely released my father. And in doing so, like I said, I started to attract high quality men.
I love that. I've seen meditations where you can literally visualize the person that you're trying to cut the cord for, and you can cut it and take your energy back. And I've done that meditation a few times, but
I've done those. I've done those. I've been teaching meditation since 2019. I've done those, but it's not until I mentally said F that. if they call me and say he's dead or alive, I don't care. I'm not going to be at any funerals. You know, he doesn't exist to me. Until I decided that to that extreme, none of those meditations mattered.
Yeah. Yeah, you had to physically just or mentally just completely cut it out. Like, yeah, for sure.
Completely.
Yeah. I get that.
You know? Yeah.
And that's powerful, that's strong, because then it's like now it doesn't matter what you've done. You no longer hold the weight.
I am autonomous.
Yeah. Yes.
I am complete.
Yes.
I am independent, and I
Yes.
am whole
Yes.
as me, by myself, with myself,
yes.
with or without a mother or a father.
Yes, I love that. And I think just
And my mama loved me.
I love that you were just talking about how you would tell your clients to retitle, just remove the idea of what mother daughter, father daughter, or father son, however,
the idealisms
just, yeah,
of it.
take away the ideals behind it and reshift. The people that we have in our lives, our circumstances, is just a reflection of our inner world and the paradigms and beliefs that we have about those people or those circumstances. So if we can quantum jump and quantum shift, I'm going deep now. If we could do that just by changing our stories and revising our stories, so we could also do that for the people that's in our lives, because there's no separation. So if I want to change the narrative about how a person is showing up, like let's say I wanted to shift when my mom was alive, like how our dynamic was when I was a teenager, then I can go in and I can look at her, I can reshape those stories, and I can look at her as I want her to be. And then I can feel like how I want to feel by her treatment or behavior or whatever internally. And as a result of that, you continue doing it. And once you embed that belief, now you have a new paradigm. And
well, you've done that before. I don't know if you want to share this example, but it was with you and Chris one time.
Oh, yes. Perfect. That's a perfect example. So I did that with my son. My son, like, he's a teenager. He's a teenager, 16 boy. My son's dad was killed when I was pregnant with him, so he's never had his father, or really a father figure for that matter. And it's like I had a hard time just like trying to raise a man. I'm not a man. So it's like, how do I raise him? How do I teach him certain things? And it's not like he was being.
And you can't, because you're a very girly, feminine, mothering, right, cooking, cleaning, decorating, you know, all this kind of girl. Right? Whole heart. You cannot show him.
So I couldn't, and especially since my daughter was born, they're 10 years apart. So for 10 years, it was just me and Chris. And so it's like, all right, this is mama's boy. This is all I got. But then when Skylar came in the picture, it was like, okay, now she's the baby. So she's getting, of course, a lot more of the attention, you know. I'm breastfeeding and stuff at the time and she's born. So it's different. And I could see that. And it's like, I would try to do, you know, things with him and still keep us connected. But I noticed when he turned 13, things shifted. And I'm like, okay, adolescence, everything, okay, but it started shifting more and more as he got older. So now him about to be 17, I'm looking at it like our relationship is completely different than it was a year ago, where it's like we were so disconnected. We were so out of alignment. And I would yell and I would, you know, try to project how I wanted him to be onto him, and I would do all these outwardly things. And it wasn't until I looked at it like,
I love that. I just love that. Yeah, you did that.
Let me look at me. Instead of me trying to change him, let me change myself. Let me change how I'm showing up. Let me shift the narrative. Let me not be so aggressive and yelling and trying to be on top of him all the time. So I went in and I did reshift it. I looked at how I'm showing up. Am I being loving? Am I being nurturing? Am I being caring? Does he feel like he's on eggshells? So I try to look at it from his perspective. How does he feel? And so when I shifted, I didn't tell him. I didn't say anything. I just changed me. And when that happened, our relationship changed. We started talking more. He was more open with me.
What did you start doing?
I just started being more present. I started being more open. I started watching my reactions. So I started being more intentional.
You said you started watching your tone as well.
Oh, yeah, I started watching my tone. That's with everything. I started watching how I was talking to him. I started making sure that I'm talking to him in love. and not out of annoyance or out of frustration. You know, I stopped looking at the things that he was doing as a slight. I stopped taking it personal, and I started looking at it like, okay, he is my son. He's also his own person. He has his own autonomy. He's still growing up. I have to look at it from his perspective. What is he going through? He's a teenager.
Yeah.
He's a man out in this world, or becoming a man,
trying to figure it out with no example.
With no example, you know. And so once I decided to change me, I noticed a change in him, and and I think you can do that with anybody. Like, I think you can do that with any person. So instead of
showing up differently,
way
the way you want to show up for yourself, and the way you want to be treated.
Yes. So it's this thing that we always say, the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated. But I think the platinum rule should be treat others how they want to be treated. Yeah. You know?
I used to say treat yourself how you want to be treated.
Yes. Right? Self-love. Yes, embodying self-love. I think that's definitely important. But when it comes to our interpersonal relationships with others, we have to look at not only how we want to be treated, but we have to look at how the other person wants to be treated. Then we also have to look at how we're showing up. It's easy to complain about somebody. It's easy to say you need to do this and point the finger. Oh, you're the problem. No, take that finger and turn it on and point it at yourself. What do you need to do to shift? What do you need to do to change? Because if you don't change, you can't expect nothing. Like, it goes circles back around everything we've been saying this whole time. If you don't change, you can't expect anything on the outside to change. Right. So if I want this dynamic and this relationship to change, I have to change myself. Yeah. And I'm never pointing the finger and looking at somebody else to change. I have to change myself and do the work. Absolutely. And it changed. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a perfect example. That was. Yeah, that was great. So let's talk about attracting healthy relationships. We talked about trauma. We've talked about the mom and the dad wound. We've talked about healing ourselves through all of that. The toxic relationship, those examples. So now sitting in this space, not needing, feeling that wholeness within, feeling fulfilled. How do you now go out and attract a healthy relationship? What tips can you give to people?
So I am not in the intentional attracting phase, and I haven't been for months. Yeah. Because I show up attractive for myself. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So again, the things that I do to show up attractive for myself, so I can feel good about myself when I'm with me and when I'm naked walking around the house with all the mirrors in my house. Right. Yes. I eat well. Yes. I meditate. The same things we talked about. I do Pilates. I work out. I speak positively to myself. I shift negative thoughts into positive ones. I say, that's not my reality. And then I switch it to something positive, so I'm doing inner work as well as external work, right? Yeah. And in me loving myself and focused on myself, I'm that flower. Yes. The bees are gonna come regardless, come. So the flower is not looking like, where the bees. Yeah. No, the bees show up on that flower trying to get that pollen. Right?
Oh, I said the birds don't chase the bees. The flowers. The flowers don't chase the bees. The flowers just are. That's the quote I was looking for.
They just are. So I'm not, I don't do the attracting thing. Yeah. I show up attractive already.
But in that too, have you noticed that those old paradigms or those old relationships that are no longer in alignment have fallen away?
No, they haven't, because they're still in my freaking messages. So they're trying even harder now. They're still in my messages. They're still in my WhatsApp. They're still they're still in my DMs. Okay, they're still around.
Yeah, I think when you energetically shift, I think
it's if I'm responding to it. Yeah. That's the question. Yeah. Before I would respond, now I just look at it like.
You don't deserve my energy. You don't deserve my attention. Yeah, but I think people feel that. I think exes can sense when you energetically shift and you just like out. It's like they come back like
they do, but to me, I feel like they're always seeking to come back in, regardless, as long as you are open to letting them in. Then they're gonna come back. Especially if you're a good woman. Oh, you know what I mean? Like they're always gonna try and come back in no matter what. So if it starts with you, if you're choosing to respond or not. Yeah. So I no longer respond. Yeah. Some have gotten blocked, others I just look at,
You ain't even like, I don't even need to block because I'm missing you already just there.
It's not even a part of my reality anymore,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have not had an ex not try to come back to this day.
Right.
And I just be looking at it like,
Yeah, exactly.
so what are
Yeah.
some green flags? You in this season, you're all it's all self love, self embodiment, and I'm here with you there. So of course, being in this state or this magnetism, because this is a very magnetic place, you're gonna attract. I'm talking about they're gonna come out the woodworks.
Yeah.
What green flags do you look for when you're in this space, when you're in this heal space?
Well, I talked about needing examples of what's healthy, right?
Yeah.
So I went through this phase of reading all the relationship books, looking at thousands of relationship coaching videos,
Yeah.
um, YouTube's. I
Yeah.
did it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ebooks,
Yeah.
physical books.
Yeah.
I was going in,
Yeah.
and because I needed examples of what's right.
Yeah.
How is this supposed to look? Because this, what I'm going through, doesn't feel right.
Right.
How can I fix this?
Yeah.
You know? But it's not about me fixing this.
Yeah.
I need to be out of that and get in alignment with myself,
Right.
right? And so, in me seeking these healthy examples through all of those materials, I found that, all the things they said is what green flags are. So, a man who's gonna Okay, so I saw a video the other day on TikTok, and it said a man is going to bring out your inner child, I think it is. He's going to make you if you're with a man, you're the woman is going to show up as the child. If you're with a boy, the woman is going to show up as the mother.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Healthy relationships
So
do bring up that inner child.
So when you feel safe as a woman,
Yeah.
it's true, that inner child comes out. You
Yes.
feel free.
Mm-hmm.
You're singing all the time. You can be
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
You're not feeling like you're gonna be judged. Or why isn't she? Why is she acting like that?
Yeah.
Or, you don't feel judged.
Yeah.
You just feel free.
Feeling
So you feel safe.
Yeah.
You're uh there's no anxiety.
Yeah.
You just feel safe and free. So if you're around, whether it's a man or woman or a romantic relationship, if you feel like you can just be yourself and you feel safe and you feel free, that's a green flag.
Yeah.
And what does that require? What do you require to feel safe and free?
Yeah.
Because it's different for other people.
Yeah.
For me, I like feeling protected.
Yeah.
I like not feeling judged.
Yeah.
I like feeling cared for.
Yeah.
Like, I got you. I got you. I like hearing that.
Oh,
I got you.
yes.
I got you.
Yes.
Or taking initiative. Oh, this is broken or this needs fixing. Let me do this for you. Let me get. I got you.
Yeah.
That's my love language. I got you.
Oh yes, I love that.
Okay. So yeah.
I love that. I think for me, the green flags that I'm looking for or that I just pay attention to is just like what you just feeling safe and secure in someone's presence.
Mhm.
If I can now that I'm so in tune with my body and my vibration, it's like when I'm around you, how do I feel? Am I anxious? Do I feel like do I feel but I don't even think butterflies are safe. Like I feel like
That's
I
what
should
they
just
say.
feel
They
calm.
say, yeah, they say
I think
that's anxiety.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I feel calm? Do I feel protected? Do I feel like if we're walking outside, are you gonna put me on the inside so I'm not I'm not gonna get hit by a car? Cars off the car. Are you making sure that are you opening my door?
Yeah.
Are you attentive to my needs?
Yeah.
Are you attentive to my energy? Can you sense like if I'm having a day or whatever? Are you gonna ask how are you? And really be interested in how I am. So are we really going to care about me, the person, not the external, not the surface level bullshit? Like, do you really care about me? Can I talk to you? Can we communicate? If you're going to be late or if you have to cancel, are you going to communicate that? Are you going to be a man of your word? If you say you're going to do something, are you going to do it? I'm paying attention to all of that. If you are in if you're a father, How do you treat your kids? Do you show up for your kids? Are your kids with you all the time? Or are you always just out in the streets? You know what I'm saying? If you are a businessman, how do you show up for your customers? How do you show up in your business?
What's your relationship with your mom?
What's your relationship like with your mom, with your dad? And if you did have an estranged relationship, are you in therapy? What are you doing to work on your healing? How are you becoming better? What books are you reading? Yes. How are you working on your self care, your self growth? What are you doing to love yourself every day? You going to the gym? Yes. You working, like, what you doing? How are you feeding your body? Yes. How are you feeding your mental? Yes. So I think now it's more so just about the level of love that a man is giving himself for me. Like, are you loving yourself to, like, fully and wholly? Are you out here seeking external validation from other women because you don't feel fulfilled and you don't feel happy? I'm going to pay attention to that. I'm going to pay attention to, if you did have an issue, how do you address it? What's your conflict resolution style? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because everyone talks about what's your love language, and I say, but what's your fighting language?
Yes. How do you fight?
What's your conflict language?
Yeah. Yeah. And are you going to
curse at me? Are you going to raise your voice?
Yeah. How are you going to approach this? Are you going to retreat when there's a problem? Or are you going to stand here and you're going to deal with it? Are you a runner? Like, are you going to run from your problems? Like, I need to know this. And it's like a lot of these things you're not going to know until you've really just kind of sat with somebody and dated them for a while, and you've been through those seasons or experiences. Anybody can tell you anything in the beginning. Anybody can put that facade or that mask on. Yeah. But then too, another thing that's big for me is, are you honest? Because if we're just starting to date and I'm in, like, are you dating? Yeah, I'm dating, and this is what's going on. I respect that. I respect that. Because you can lie to me. You can try to lie to me and try to get me into, like, just tell me what you think I want to hear to try to get me in the sack or whatever. But if you can be honest with me, that oh my God. Like, first of all, that's letting me know, like, okay, do I even want to partake or deal with this situation? But not only that, is like, you're a stand-up person. I view you to, even if I don't talk to you or date you, I respect you. Yeah. The respect is going to supersede everything else. True. You know what I'm saying? It's going to supersede everything else. I need, like, let me know, like, I want to be with somebody I can respect. Who are you? Who are you really? Who are you when nobody's looking? That's what I want to see. I want to see how you treat people, how you show up. So I think it's
all green flags.
Those are all green flags. But it does boil back down to, like, that feeling. How do you feel? Yeah. I think,
and that's personal.
Yeah, that's very personal. Yeah. And it's not even nothing for you to tell anybody. You this is something that you're assessing within yourself. So to the women and the men, it's not just a woman thing. Like, men, you have feminine energy too. Tap into that. How is this girl right for me? Yeah, she can look good. She can smell good. She can feel good when you enter. All of that. But how does she make your soul feel? How does he make your soul feel? Do you feel good? Do you feel like you can be your most authentic self with this person? Forget what society says. Forget all of this extra bullshit. How do you feel with this person? How do you feel about you when you're with this person? You know what I mean? So I think once you get to that place, and even on your healing journey and you're going through, the motions, check in with yourself at all times. Like, before you check in with something, check in with you. How you feel? How you feeling? Are you able to be
your body will tell you every time.
Is it clear? Is your future clear when you with them? Do you feel cloudy? Do you feel in alignment? All of that's gonna tell you, and you're gonna know. And all you gotta do is just go in and ask God within, is this right for me? Yeah. And you're gonna get the evidence on the outside to show you it's right for you or if it's not right for you. And it's just up to you to have that discernment to decide. Yeah. I love that you would add something to that.
Yeah, just intuition,
Oh, yes.
While all of those things are amazing when it comes to green flags, a quick way to see if somebody is a green flag for you is just, tap into that intuition. And you have to sharpen your intuition so you can be able to give them a quick, okay, yeah, the same for me, as opposed to wasting time, energy with somebody to then find out they've been lying all this time. Intuition is the quick jump into the future so you can avoid all of the BS and, not have to deal with what you may have put yourself through before when your intuition wasn't as keen. I say there's two things you would need. It's either you're going to have intuition or you're going to need time. If your intuition isn't sharp, you're going to need time. And in you buying yourself time, Don't do anything that's going to further cloud your thoughts and your intuition, such as have sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
When getting to know somebody. You can't have sex because that's going to cloud your mind and it's going to cloud your intuition. And then your heart's going to start speaking for you and your vagina's going to start thinking for you. So, to keep the intuition clear and to keep your thoughts clear, if you don't have the intuition that's going to tell you right away, you're going to need to buy yourself time. And that takes no sex.
Yeah, I love that. I think too, just piggybacking off of that, having the heart and mind coherence, that's going to help intensify that intuition. Because if your heart and your mind are in alignment, then that's your intuition speaking to you. But that's the same in everything. Like you're gonna feel it. Yeah. Like you just gonna know. You're gonna feel it.
Yeah. There's a difference between femininity and feminine energy. Femininity is a derivative of feminine energy. It's feminine energy physically expressed, right? It's the posture, it's the lipstick, it's the pink and the red, it's the hair and the makeup. That's femininity, the things. A man can be femininity, not necessarily the embodiment, just it's the physical cosplay of feminine energy. Okay. Right. So like I said, a man can be femininity. He can put on some heels, some lipstick, some hair, some nails, right? Yeah. All the things that we think is feminine energy, but it's not feminine energy. That's femininity. Yeah. It's the costume of feminine energy. Oh. Right? So feminine energy is the inner power of what a woman is. Yeah. And it stems from the womb. Right? You have the patience, the grace, the nurturing, the intuition, the caring. Those are all attributes of feminine energy. They're characteristics. Yeah. Right? That is feminine energy. And so both men and women love feminine energy more than masculine energy. Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because women, when they're talking about the things they love in their man, yeah, they love him being all protective and big. But what a woman really loves is when a man listens to her, when he's attentive towards her. These are all feminine energy attributes. Yeah. When he buys her that chocolate bar when she's on her menstrual cycle, being considerate, that's feminine energy. Yes. Right? So both men and women love feminine energy more. Yeah. Right? And it can be expressed through men and women both. Yeah. So that's the difference. It's characteristics that are expressed through, different physical traits. Okay. Yeah.
I like that. In dating, how should a woman, if she's in her feminine, show up? If she wants to get that full embodiment of that masculine, that protector, the provider, but still,
she has to be all about herself. Yeah. Okay. That's it. If you want that man who's going to show up for you, you have to just show up for you.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so you have to just be about you and not really care about anything or anyone else. You really have to be very self-centered in your feminine energy and just in you. Yes. You have to be self-centered, selfish, everything.
The men gonna hate that one.
Yes, you have to be about you. You have to be self-absorbed. You have to be so deep into yourself and your feminine energy that he's going to show up, because a man who's deep and secure in his masculine energy, he's going to love that about you. He's going to love it. He's going to want to nurture that in you. He's going to want to protect that in you so you could keep being that, because he's attracted to that feminine energy. Now, a man who's not in his masculine energy, he's in his boy, wounded mother, wounded father energy. He's going to want to break you down. Right? He's going to want to break that down, or he's going to want you to turn that feminine energy and you being all about yourself into you pulling his breast out and nursing him. Okay, and you playing mother, right? Yeah. So but a man, he's gonna want to protect that energy and you being about yourself. He's not going to be offended by it. I love that, because he knows he's gonna benefit from the residual effects of that feminine energy. See, when I am deep in my feminine energy, and there's a man who comes around who I feel protected around, and I'm not somebody who cooks. I don't like cooking. I could cook. I'm Trinidadian. I could cook, but I don't like cooking. I don't like chopping, and I don't like all of that. Some people love. I'm not. I don't like cooking.
I love it.
So you want somebody who's gonna cook? Yeah. I clean already for myself, but don't think I'm somebody who's gonna come around that you're gonna be cooking for you. Okay. Right. But if a man shows up and he makes me feel safe and secure and cared for, I'm cooking. Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm inspired
now to you're cook. Inspired. I love it.
All of a sudden, so he's benefiting from the residual effects of nurturing my feminine energy, of protecting my feminine energy.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's sexy. Okay, girl. Okay. These are just some little truth or myth type situations. What's your take on the idea that men are intimidated by strong, independent women? Do you think that's a truth or is it a myth?
I think it's a myth because men are not intimidated by strong, independent women. Boys are intimidated by strong, independent women.
Mic drop. All right. Second one. Do you believe women should ever compromise in relationships, or does that often lead to them losing themselves? I already know the answer to this.
Compromise? For what? Compromise for what? Look. Eartha Kitt.
Yes.
Eartha Kitt said it.
Yes.
Compromise for what?
For what?
She said it.
What you doing?
You want to know the answer to that question? Go back to that video from Eartha Kitt.
Yes. I love that. So for women on their healing journey, what are 3 things they should stop doing in relationships?
You should stop overgiving. Stop. And so in that stop overgiving, that means that you stop trying to overlove and play his position for him so that he can love you and pay more attention. Stop overgiving. Right. Stop. I think it's just like stop doing too much. I think that's just the main thing. Stop doing too much. Get back into you and stay focused on you. Stop doing too much. Yeah, I think I just have one.
Yeah.
And it translates into the same thing. Stop overgiving, stop doing too much, stop trying to show up extra for him, stop trying to make him feel extra, and he hasn't done yet a thing for you.
Yeah. I think first and foremost, stop, like you said, stop overgiving. Put the focus on yourself. That's gonna be the first. Like, stop focusing on him. Stop focusing on what he's doing. Shift that focus to yourself and what you want. Prioritize yourself. Stop making excuses for what he's not doing.
Ooh.
That's 2. And 3, stop. And maybe this goes with the first one. Stop second guessing yourself. Stop second guessing your value. Stop second guessing your worth. Like, know that everything that you deserve, you very much well can have and should have. Like, it's no negotiation. There's no compromising your worth.
Yeah. So that was about to say. So that brought me to what we said numerous times, which is stop ignoring your body's response to the relationship, things he does, how you feel in certain situations. Stop ignoring your body, how it feels and how it reacts.
I love that. Absolutely. I definitely agree. So can you share a ritual, affirmation, or practice that you swear by for staying connected to your feminine energy and so forth for the audience?
Yes. They can listen to my album, Ritual, Rictual. My name is Maat Petrova, so look up Ritual by Maat Petrova and put on the track Feeling Myself, and that's what they can do.
That just was a setup for Alana because I didn't even know that you had that. Yeah. So that was perfect.
Thank you.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think
it's an affirmation album, a manifestation album, and it's made with 432 hertz sound vibrations.
I love that. I do this is a sidebar, but I do my recordings, like my Living in the End recordings with the 432 hertz sound.
Look it out. Nice.
Yeah, so this is a tip, and I found this from somebody else on YouTube. But they were like, you can manifest with Chat GPT. You go in and tell Chat GPT, put the prompt in, act as an expert in manifestation and law of attraction, and create a story in first person, and then you list all of your goals, everything that you see for yourself in the end, and then ChatGPT will create a story for you. So that's something that you can do, just recreating your new story. Really think about your goals, and it literally creates it in story format. I got a couple on my phone for different areas, but I recorded with the voice affirmation. I mean, the voice, not voice affirmation. I recorded with the voice app on my phone with the 432 hertz playing in the background. Nice. That's something that you can do. Listen to it morning and night, just to kind of start reprogramming your mind and like really kind of get you attuned to living in the end. So that's something that I would recommend do. And then affirmations, just everything is well in my world. Everything is always working out for me. I am healthy, I'm whole, I am loved, I am protected. Like just things like that. Think about how you want to feel, the embodiment of that, and just implement that into your daily routine. I love a mirror technique. I love when you go. Whew. I love when you can go do the mirror work and you look in your eyes in the mirror and you start doing your affirmations and you're doing your chants and you're doing your mantras, whatever resonates with you, whatever makes your vibration just raise and it feels like you're about to come out of your body. That's the feeling you want to have. But when you do that, looking in the mirror, it's so powerful. So those are some of the things that I would add to what Maat said. Especially for your self care and your ritual. I like that. You didn't even tell me that. Now I gotta go listen because you need to tell me. I can't believe you didn't tell me.
Yeah, that's been out since December 2019.
I love. Okay, so see, she's so multifaceted. She got all this stuff going, and I don't even know it. I've been here, and listen, we've been rocking for a minute, but it's fine. In closing, if you could give our listeners one bold, unfiltered truth about dating, relationships, and healing the feminine, what would it be? Either one of those. Okay. Unfiltered truth.
The unfiltered truth is it is a process, and you have to be patient with the process. And you might go back, you might fall on your face. You will fall on your face. You might fall on your face in the same area 3 times. It is a process, and you have to be patient with your process.
Yes.
And that's it. Give yourself grace.
I love that. I love that.
I would love to tell them that, start doing the work today. You're healed tomorrow.
Yeah. No, that's a lie.
But what I can say is rest assured, if it took you your entire childhood and adulthood to experience the trauma, if you start doing the healing work, trust me, it is not going to take you as long to heal as it did for you to live in the trauma.
Yes, I definitely 100% agree with that. Agree with that for sure. Do I have an unfiltered truth? No, I guess just I don't know, just probably the same as you. Just be patient. Be patient with yourself. It's not going to happen overnight. Give yourself grace. I think learn grace. Yeah. Be grace. Yeah. And just don't take anything personal. Right. Don't take anything personal on the journey. And always and always, always remain accountable to how you show up. Thank you. And don't it's as hard as it may be not to feel victimized by what you've experienced, especially in these relationships and the traumas of childhood. Don't allow yourself to be victimized. Don't maintain that victim identity. Understand that you hold the power to shift the narrative, that you hold the power to change, and give yourself the grace and know that every day is going to be an uphill. I don't want to say battle. I don't want to say battle. It's just a step. You just got to take a single step every day. You might not have to see the whole staircase. Martin Luther King said that. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the. I know, but I just be like, I don't want to be thinking about no battle. It's a process.
Battle. Sometimes it's a walk in the park.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Just step forward.
When the higher you get in your healing, the more happier days you'll see. Trust and believe.
That is a fact. That is a big fact. The more in alignment you'll feel, you'll just start feeling better and you'll know. That's how you'll know you're healing. I think that was a question that I had. How do I know that I'm healing? How do I know that I've healed from this? And I think you don't really
Put yourself
know.
through the same
Yeah.
situation and see how you respond, and
Don't
you'll
put
see.
yourself through it. It's gonna come up.
It's right,
It's
right.
gonna come up.
Yeah, the same situation will come up, and see how you respond.
Yeah.
That'll
You'll
tell
know
you if you're healed.
Yeah, that's true. I think I had that experience with me. I had to go through. I had to have a situation reappear that I was working on, and I noticed my response and my reaction, and I noticed what it brought up in me, and that's how I knew. Oh, I'm different. And that's how you'll know. Just give yourself grace. Even if you show up the same way that you showed up 5, 10 years ago, understand that it is a process and give yourself the grace in that process. And it's gonna get better. Just stick with it. You are the greatest project you're ever going to work on. This is about you. Make it about you. Make your life and your healing personal. This is everything that you want, everything that you desire is yours already, as long as you step up and you own it and you take life by the horns and you say, this is mine, this is what I'm doing. I'm committed to my growth and being the best version of myself. Oh, Ashe, baby. So, let us know. Tell the listeners how they can connect with you, where they can find you, where they can get your products. Let them know.
Yes, I have amazing feminine care products. The liquid products are handmade. The pads and tampons and panty liners and wipes are organic cotton products. And it's available at femmagic.com. Or you can email me at info@femmagic, or follow me, Femmagic, on all social media platforms, or Maat Petrova.
Can you spell the Fem Magic for them?
It's FE2MsAgic.com, or on social media, like Instagram is 3 M's in the middle, but everywhere else is 2 M's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure that I'll link that so they'll see that there. And then you said your Instagram, your personal is Maat Petrova.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Maat Petrova.
And that's spelled MAAT underscore.
Right? No, just MAAT, and then and PETROVA.
See,
no underscore, no period. No
All
underscore.
right. I want to thank you so much for joining me here. I love
Thank
this
you for having
conversation.
me.
Of course, you're the perfect person to talk about this with today, and I'm so happy that you showed up and you shared your light with us in the world and the audience. I'm sure that so many people are going to benefit from this conversation.
Yeah.
And yeah, we did our big one. I'm proud of us.
Yes, girl.
Yes, girl. And for me, you guys
that's the main thing for me. You
Yeah.
know, I really want a lot of women to be able to benefit from, this touching their heart, their
Yes.
spirit, and their minds, and creating some type of shift in them.
Yes, I love that same mission. I feel like if I can heal the world one word at a time, I will.
Yeah.
Now, if you have been tuning in and you feel like you need assistance or some, coaching, like one-on-one time, I do offer one-on-one coaching. You can visit my Stand store that has all of my links at stand.store/Sharday Pearson. Also, check out my book, The Master Manifestor. And this literally lays out self-love, healing, the shadow. Get in there, get you some, because it's definitely going to help you on your journey to healing. Be sure to check out my Stand store. You will find all of my links. You can book with me. I also have a 15-minute discovery call so we can talk and figure out what it is that you need assistance on, chart a plan. I have a free manifestation worksheet that you can download on my Stand store. I look forward to connecting with you all in the future. And to everyone, as always, love and light. And I'll see you on the next episode.